This broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other disseminations or the use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Pacific Coast Sports Racing Association and the National Association of Professional Racing Leagues Incorporated is prohibited. On the PCSRA Sports and Gaming Channel from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Triple P on the Blue Hedgehog TV. Now here's the voice of the PCSRA, Mr. Daniel Voiles.
Welcome to the Road Course Racing and Streets Really Weird and Wacky edition of Triple P. I'm Daniel Voiles. If you're watching this live on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are live in our PCSRA studios, a very short week because we have a race weekend that's filled with action-packed excitement and all that here in our PCSRA studios. So we're just going to say this should be a lot of fun. Tonight's episode of Triple P, we're going to recap. First of all, let me tell you congratulations to Will Brown on winning the Penrite Oil Sandown 500 over Brock Heaney, James Golding, Matthew Payne, Cooper Murray, the top five. Then it was Cam Waters, Chess Mustard, David Reynolds, Bryce Fullwood, and Cameron Hill, your top 10. Congratulations to them. Supercars' next Enduro will be the Bathurst 1000, the one I always look forward to. That will be coming up in several weeks' time. So I just want to get that out of the way as far as that's concerned. Tonight, we're going to recap Watkins Glen. We're going to recap the IndyCar finale, and we're also going to talk about Baku. I'll give you my final thoughts on NBC's farewell to the IndyCar series now that it's going to Fox, officially starting next year. I will give you my thoughts on that and all that other stuff and yada yada. We're also going to talk about the play series. Who is not safe elimination race weekend at Bristol. As I'm waiting to see this thing to why we're having some connection issues, but my Wi-Fi is just acting up a bit. But we'll worry about that later on. So yeah, let's go over the top 10 results for the F1 race. The race was kind of interesting, but then Carlos Sainz, or he was stinking, decides to go into Checo Press, took both cars into the wall, and ended both of their days. And of course, the race ended under a VSC, which I don't know what he was thinking as far as that's concerned. But congratulations to Oscar Piastri, his second career F1 win and a second on the season. So the top 10 for Oscar Piastri, the winner. Charles Leclerc second, George Russell third, Lando Norris fourth, Max Verstappen fifth, Fernando Alonso sixth, Alex Albon seventh, Franco Colapinto gets points eighth, Lewis Hamilton ninth, and Ollie Behrman substituting into Kevin Magnussen the top 10. Kevin Magnussen back this weekend at the Singapore Grand Prix, so hooray. Only 4 of the 20 starters in the F1 race failed to finish. Most notably, the Perez-Sainz incident, Lance Stroll, and then Yuki Tsunoda all retired out of the race. IndyCar was a lot of fun. It was a good race weekend. Congratulations to Colton Herta on the victory. And here's your top 10 results for the race. Colton Herta, the win, Paddle Award second. Third went to Joseph Newgarden, Kyle Kirkwood fourth, Scotty Mack fifth, Santino Ferrucci sixth. Seventh, Marcus Armstrong, Linus Lundqvist eighth, David Malukas ninth, and Connor Daly completed the top 10. And congratulations to our honorable mention of Alex Blow, who finished in the 11th position as far as that's concerned. Only 3 of the 27 starters, by the way, failed to finish the season finale. And Alex Blow is your champion. And I forgot who won the Rookie of the Year honors, but whoever did, congratulations. So I want to take some time to say, a bit of a thank you to NBC for providing the IndyCar races. They have been a super joy for us to watch over these years. While I'm sad they're not going to be back to be the Indy 500 and all that next year, Lee Diffie masterpiece, and he has been a bundle of excitement. And I'm really gonna miss seeing IndyCar, but I'm looking forward to Lee Diffie still doing IMSA as well as NASCAR. That would be something cool. I would love to see as IMSA is going to be there. So I'm really thinking that Lee Diffie is going to still do IMSA, which I know that he's going to do, and I bet you James Hinchcliffe is going to also do IMSA as well with Townsend Bell. So that should be a fun combo. So at least I know Lee Diffie will still call the Rolex 24 at Daytona. So I'm really still excited about that as far as that is concerned. So IndyCar on NBC was great, and like I said, I'm going to miss it, but I'm not feeling excited about this going to Fox next year. I think it's um, going to be a very big disaster as far as I'm concerned, because I'm worried they're going to have the cartoon characters like they do with the Cup Series, and also, well, it's only the Cup Series because with now the Xfinity Series now starting their new friendship with the CW, which, like I said, this will be the first time we're going to have the CW for a NASCAR weekend. And I don't know how that's going to go. All I know is we're very excited and really skeptical to see how this will plan out. And we'll have to wait and see how they do in their first race. I know there's going to be some mistakes for the CW, but they're going to get once they start doing this full time. It's going to be only with the NBC crew for these last 8 races, since we do not have any word on who is going to take over it full time in 2025. That's something we are still going to have to wait and see about that. I'm going to go ahead and take a little commercial break because I got to get my cup filled up with ice. And on the other side of when I get back, the Watkins Glen weekend. Triple P is live here on the Blue Hedgehog TV. Don't go anywhere, folks. Welcome back, Triple P, ready to dive into the highlights of the race weekend we had, which was the Mission 200 and the GoBowling.com at the Glen. I can't wait to go over my thoughts and opinion. Of course, you will see more of a valuable discussion on the Let's Talk Rowdy show, which will be tomorrow night. Hope you'll join us for that. So, yes. Let's go over here. I already had it all. I just didn't have it set up before I came on the air. This is, by the way, the race we had Cup drivers for the race weekend at the Glen. So we start with the Xfinity Series race that ran 8 extra laps. They actually ran a full Cup distance, even though the race is the Mission 200, which is 82 laps of racing. I didn't get. I did get to see the entire race. I actually did watch the entire race weekend of the Glen. So let's break it down to you guys right here and right now. Nothing happened in stage 1. By the way, 3 drivers failed to qualify: Blaine Perkins, Jay Buford, and Kyle Keller. Those were the 3 who failed to qualify. Kyle Weatherman broke a rear end on his machine. He was out of the race already. Stage 1 was concluded. Was won by rookie driver Connor Zilic, who, by the way, won the ARCA race on Friday night. As my charger just came undone. I had to get a new charger because I didn't know what happened to my other one. So let me fix fix that real quick. So, yeah. There we go. So, excuse me. Tell me I lost connection when I didn't. So, Connor Zilic won stage one. Second was Justin Allgaier. Third was Eric Almirola. Fourth was Chandler. Running at the top five was Sheldon Creed. Cole Custer, sixth. Seventh, Love. Eighth went to Riley Herbst. Ninth went to Ryan Sieg. And 10th went to Jeremy Clements. In fact, the first two stages went caution-free in that regard. William Byron won stage two. Second went to Ty Gibbs. Third went to Connor Zilic. Fourth went to Sam Mayer. Fifth went to Justin Allgaier. Sixth, Cole Custer. Seventh went to Riley Herbst. Eighth went to Austin Hill. Ninth to Ryan Sieg. And 10th, Jeremy Clements. So Clements only got 2 points there. So the first half of the race was pretty calm, pretty tamed as far as that is concerned, and all of that, yada, yada, yada. But it didn't stay that long because just after the restart, Justin Allgaier, turn number 6, got beached in a gravel trap after making contact with the 87 of Mike Skeen, who, by the way, made his first start of the 2024 season. And that is the same Mike Skeen who caused issues, which Max Pappas' girlfriend slapped him during a Truck Series race at Canadian Tire in 2013, which was funny as hell. And that was right before the Cup race at Darlington that night, if I recall correctly. So, yeah. Then the race went into a long green flag run, so we were getting ready to find out who was going to save enough fuel. But then with about 4 laps to go, poor Medvedev running top 15 when that happened. Of course, Kyle Sieg went out with an axle. Alonde had brake issues, and then Medvedev blew a rear gear on his machine. He came to a full stop where he missed the inner loop. Now, if you miss the inner loop, you have to come to a complete stop and go. Well, apparently Medvedev had a problem on his car. He unfortunately fell out of a top 15 run and ended up finishing pretty poorly. So that's too bad for Dibby because he was having such a good run, running top 15 race, and unfortunate his day came to an end as far as that is concerned, which left the question of who had enough gas to make it on the green-white checkers. And then it got chaotic because just after the restart, the 15, Josh Williams got into an incident with the 15 machine of Joey Logano. They end up collecting Anthony Alfredo and Austin Hill. Both Alfredo and Austin Hill, as I just knocked over a bottle of Coke Zero for no reason. Anthony Alfredo and Austin Hill got together, and then Anthony Alfredo decided to drive himself into the guardrail for unknown reasons. Why he did that, I do not know. Probably because of the damage he had, and he thought he made the apex when he didn't realize there was a guardrail there. It didn't matter because the day was done along with Austin Hill. Too bad for those drivers. Of course, it brought out a 22-minute red flag as far as that is concerned. And then Mike Skeen got into an incident with Brandon Jones just after that restart. And then the final caution, Riley Herbst got turned on the back straightaway and collected Ed Jones, who was having a fantastic run. The 44 Brendan Poole, as well as Ryan C, got involved in as well. A lot of cars torn up. That ended the race under yellow because they already took the white flag. And Connor Zilic, like he did in the ARCA race, barely held on. Gets his first career Xfinity win in, here's a novel concept, in his debut race. So congratulations to him. So happy for Connor Zilic. Of course, remember he won the ARCA race on Friday night in dominant fashion. He led all but one lap of that ARCA race Friday night. So for him to win the Xfinity race, and the fact is he's going to be full-time in that ride next year, he has a winner's provisional he can rely on that's going to save him just in case he doesn't qualify in the top 33, because that winner provisional is going to come in handy for Connor Zillage, but I'm really excited for him. I would love to see Carson qualify full time in the Xfinity Series because two of these drivers in the 88 that we've seen this year have done a stellar job. They've been performing really well. They haven't been tearing up their equipment a lot. And I have a feeling Connor Zillage is going to be somebody we're going to keep an eye on. Of course, he won't make the playoffs because he's missed too many races. And remember, this was his first race in the Xfinity after he turned 18 years old. Thomas Anzunita had to get out of the car and Joey leave him due to heat exhaustion, but Joey Guys made sure the 35 team came home in the 29th position, many laps down. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 38 starters failed to finish. 35 team last car that finished. Everybody else did not finish. So 10 of the 38 starters in the Xfinity race failed to finish. So the top 10 results for the Xfinity Series next to last race, and this is also the last race for Cup drivers. We have the regular season finale, which will have no Cup drivers, which is good for us. Connor Zillage, his first start of his career in the Xfinity Series. He'll full time next year. Sheldon Creed cannot catch a break. Almost had it won again, but we'll have to sell for second again, in the words of Rowdy Austin Powers, as he likes to call it. AJ Allmendinger third, Chandler Smith fourth, Shane Van Gisbergen fifth, Ross Chastain sixth, Parker Kligerman seventh. Was announced Parker Kligerman will not be returning to NASCAR full time or to the 48 team in the Xfinity Series. Sorry for Bill. Xfinity Series next season, but he comes away with a 7th place result. Jesse 8th, Joey Logano 9th, and his final start this season. And rounding out the top 10 was Josh Bilicki. Good run for Austin Green. A couple of shout outs I want to say. Austin Green 11th, great run. Parker Retzlaff 14th. Ed Jones had a top 15 run, had to come home in 24th. And as I mentioned, only 10 of the 38 starters in the Xfinity Series failed to finish in that race. Then we go to the Cup Series, and I will go ahead and break down the regular season. I will break down the regular season point scenario for the Xfinity Series coming up later on after we recap the Cup race, which was a fun Cup race, I should say. But it didn't take long for carnage to break out. Just after the green flag, problems already, and it's really weird that Kyle Busch has had so much bad luck in this 2024 season. He has not won a race this season. We thought he was going to win, but on lap number 1 of 92, we'll explain why it was 92 laps and not the regular 90 laps, 220.5 miles. Kyle Busch gets turned in the inner loop, collects a bunch of drivers. Thanks to Corey LaJoie, collected Ryan Blaney, collected Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell got a piece of it. Denny Hamlin, the one thing Denny Hamlin did not need in that race. Kyle Busch did get his car going. Ryan Blaney did not, and Ryan Blaney and Ricky Stenhouse's day were done. Too bad for them. AJ Allmendinger blew a transmission. That's a shame. He was having a good run going as far as that is concerned. There's all that. So, but a tough day for some playoff contenders who got involved in this, and Ryan Blaney ended up finishing 38th, which that's going to hurt him in the points, which we'll talk about the points in just a second. Stage 1 went to Martin Truex Jr., a playoff contender. The top 8 were playoff contenders. They were Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, who needed some big points after his DNF last in Atlanta, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and also Kyle Larson. The two non-playoff contenders that rounded out top 10 were Eric Jones and Daniel Hemrick, as far as that is concerned. Then Daniel Suarez had a problem in turn number 6, which he got beached into the gravel trap, which ended stage 2. That one went to Ross Chastain, who was not having a good run. And I also noticed that Cody needs to yell at Ross Chastain, and I'll tell him why in a minute. So Ross Chastain won stage 2, SVG second, third went to the 22 Joey Logano, playoff contender. Ty Gibbs fourth, fifth went to William Byron, sixth went to Harrison Burton, seventh Chase Briscoe, eighth went to Alex Bowman, ninth Ryan Preece, and completing the top 10 was Denny Hamlin, who only got one measly point. And remember, Hamlin came in this race only 2 points above the cut line, and he had a very difficult day. And it got worse for Denny Hamlin because just after the restart, he got turned. Denny Hamlin, that is, it all started when Kyle Larson made a 3-wide move, which 3-wide on a road course was not a smart idea. As my charger came unplugged, I don't know why. Hold on a second. As I don't know what's going on with my charger. And my charger's being stupid. And my charger just decided to stop working. Well, that's just great. Anyway, Kyle got into Brad Keselowski, who turned Brad Keselowski up into Denny Hamlin, and Hamlin got spun. No harm, no foul as far as the contact was concerned, and Hamlin continued on, having a very miserable day in the process, as I have no clue what's going on with the charger. As fortunately I can do this and do this. So yeah, been a tough day for those drivers involved. As apparently I cannot get my phone charged, and I'm not sure. There we go. My charger was being stupid. Anyway, need to keep an eye on that as far as that's concerned. So as I was saying, just after that incident, we had debris in turn 6 from the from Harrison Burton tire that came off the car. Then William Byron and Brad Keselowski got into an incident where Byron climbed up on Brad Keselowski's car, which I've never seen that on a Gen 7 car. It looked like almost like IndyCar tire-to-tire contact, but how they got the T4 fix, I will never know. As far as that is concerned. And then the last caution was Tyler Reddick and Kyle Busch getting into the S's. And at the end of the day, Chris Buescher outbeat SVG and took home his first win on the season. Came 2 races too late, but hey, a win is a win, and you have to take it by the horns. Second went to SVG, third Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, fourth Zane Smith was your top 5. Then it was Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell, Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece, and Austin Cindric. Your top 10. Briscoe was below the cut line. Well-needed run for him, so he got a lot of points out of that ordeal. Where did everybody else finish as far as your playoff contenders? Kyle Larson, 12th. Daniel Suarez, 13th. Christopher Bell, 14th. Joey Logano, 15th. Alex Bowman, 18th. Chase Elliott, 19th. Martin Truex Jr. and 20th. 22nd for Ty Gibbs. Denny Hamlin, 23rd. As I said, he came in this race only 2 points above the cut line. He will end up being below the cut line in that regard. Harrison Burton, 24th. He did get some stage points, but I don't think he's too bad of a situation. I don't think Harrison Burton's necessarily in a must-win, but we'll see. Brad Keselowski, 26th. Tyler Reddick, 27th. William Byron, 3rd. Ryan Blaney, the only player ever out of the race. Good thing for Ryan Blaney, he had a big enough cushion between himself and the cut line as far as that is concerned. So, taking a look at the Xfinity Series regular season schedule, Justin Allgaier just needs to have a good day. Cole Custer to win to beat Justin Allgaier, but Justin Allgaier would have the tiebreaker over Custer. And Allgaier just needs to finish 19th or better to win, as Rowdy likes to call it, a participation trophy. And then AJ Allmendinger and Sheldon Creed have locked themselves a spot into the playoffs. Because they are both 159 and 145 points above the cut line. Parker Kligerman is 85 points above the cut line, and Sammy Smith 43 points above the cut line. Everybody else below the cut line has got to win at Bristol. So they're all in a must-win situation, those of the full-time drivers. So what did I think about Watkins Glen and all that? I thought it was a fun race. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought these drivers were just trying to take it easy as far as the results show and all that. So it was definitely a fun race weekend to see. And, hopefully, we could see that going into the elimination race this weekend at Bristol, which should be fun. Don't feel like reading as far as that's concerned. Not a lot of top stories. I've already mentioned about Parker Kligerman. Congrats to him on a great career, and hopefully we'll have to see where this is going to situate him as far as that is concerned. But yeah. So looking at the playoff grid, of course, Joey Logano already has a win, so he's already in the next round, regardless what happens at Bristol. Looking at and I'm going to just use this from Twitter. Christopher Bell is 46 above the cut line. Austin Cindric, 43 above. Alex Bowman, 41 above. 36 above is Daniel Suarez. Tied for 6th, 30 above is Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott. Ryan Blaney is now 29 points above the cut line. Kyle Larson is 26 above the cut line. William Byron, 25 above the cut line. And then close battle with Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, both tied with 6 points above the cut line. Denny Hamlin, 6 points below the cut line. 12 points below the cut line for Brad Keselowski. Martin Truex Jr. is 14, and Harrison Burton, 20 points below the cut line. So none of the 16 drivers, well, with the exception of Joey Logano, none of the 15 drivers are safe as far as moving on to the round of 12, as far as being locked in. So we give ourselves a very doozy of an elimination race this weekend at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and it should be a lot of fun nevertheless at Bristol. It should be fun. So as I said, Kevin Magnussen returns this weekend for Singapore. Of course, he missed the Azerbaijan Grand Prix last weekend after claiming 12 penalty points, which indicated a one-race suspension for the contact with Pierre Gasly back at the Italian Grand Prix. So, yeah. And if you look at the Drivers' Championship in F1, a couple of things that really stand out to me as far as the point standings. Of course, Max Verstappen still leads the Drivers' Championship, takes a 20-point lead in the Constructors. And here's what really bothers me about this. Ollie Bearman had, even though he scored 1 point in this weekend, he has more points than Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, and Logan Sargent. Colapinto has more points than Sargent. That surprises me, to tell you the truth. That surprises me. And I think Williams' decision to bench Sargent for Colapinto was the absolute right one. Because think about this. Logan Sargent could not get a Williams car out of, I think, Q1. And they put Colapinto in there, and he puts a Q3 in Baku. So it's either Sargent was the problem, or I question why you brought Sargent back this year for him to struggle like this, and then you give it to Colapinto. Boom! He's already outqualified Alex Albon. He already got points in his second race. In his second race, folks. So you guys will have to agree that Logan Sargent was the problem. It was not the car. And I have to give Williams a lot of credit. And now they've jumped ahead of Alpine. Now they're eighth in the constructors. And Colapinto, yeah, he had a rough weekend with 2 crashes this weekend, but he's getting better. Now we're going to see his real true test if he's going to take care of it going into Singapore this weekend, which you will catch that here on ESPN this Sunday, believe it or not, since all the racing is going to be on Thursday night. Which, speaking of which, let's talk about the race weekend coming up. First of all, you have the Menard Series combination race, the final race for the E Series. They will go first as we pull up your race weekend. Or actually, I'm going to use JSki for this. The ARCA race this weekend, looking at the Bristol week. Let me get on down. Of course, ARCA running out of time as far as that's concerned. This is the last race for the E Series. You can tune into the Bush's Best 200. That will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FS1 and all that good stuff. Let me look at the schedule. Yeah. So the Bristol Motor Speedway race, the final race for the E Series, and the fourth to last race in the ARCA race weekend. The Bush's Best 200, that will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FS1. Immediately following, we have the Truck Series race, the second race of the round of 10. So you can watch the University of Northwestern Ohio 200 at 8 p.m. Standard Time on FS1. You can watch the listen to the race on the Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. And of course, like I said, it is the middle race of the round of 10. So I bet you there's going to be a lot of drivers doing double duty. They're going to be running 400 laps in one night, which that is going to be a surprise. So like I said, it's going to be a very exciting race. It should be a lot of fun as far as that is concerned. Then Friday night will be the debut on the CW. You can watch the Food City 300 at Bristol Friday, September 20th at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the CW. You can also listen to the race on the Performance Racing Network, which is the other guys. And that will be, by the way, the regular season finale and what could be Dale Jr.'s last ever Xfinity Series race, if not NASCAR race of his career. And then Saturday night will be the final 16. You can catch the Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shops America's Night Race, 7:30 Eastern Time on USA. You can listen to the race on the Performance Racing Network, which is the other guys. And after this race weekend at Bristol, we'll find out who will be the 4 drivers that get eliminated from the playoffs. And then Sunday night, Sunday we'll have the F1 Singapore Grand Prix. So it should be a lot of fun nevertheless in that regard. So we're looking forward to that. So should be a lot of fun racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. Don't know what to expect, but I bet you it's going to be a very exciting race weekend nevertheless here at the world's fastest half mile. So we'll find out if Allgaier will win the, as Rowdy likes to call it, the participation trophy. For the Truck Series drivers, for those below the cut line, they're going to need a good run or find themselves heading into their first elimination race at Kansas in a must-win situation. Which, by the way, the playoffs for the Xfinity Series starts next week at Kansas Speedway, so that should be a lot of fun. And we also will have the first race of the round of 12 for the Cup Series, as all three series are in the playoff swing as far as that is concerned. So we look forward to that. We'll talk about that on next week's show, and that should be a lot of fun. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Triple P. We appreciate you joining us here on YouTube and also here on Twitch TV. And also thank you to Studio Restream.io for their contributes, help, and all that good stuff. So, yes. So if you guys enjoyed this episode of Triple P, be sure to give it a like. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, I highly recommend you do so in order to keep up with some wonderful content coming out in the near future, as well as future episodes of your favorite podcast coming out throughout the rest of this week and on the next. I'm Edith Voiles, aka PCS Ray Blue Hedgehog 26, saying good night from the Triple P set here in our PCS Ray studio. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week as you've been listening to Triple P on the PCS Race Sports and Gaming channel, celebrating 14 years as the best in our racing around the world since 2017. Good night from Yukon, Oklahoma.